Okay, rolling.
What? During the console wars, when the PlayStation 1 was first released, both Nintendo and Sega each had their own iconic mascots that everyone recognized and was able to associate with the individual companies. In Nintendo's case, they had Mario. For Sega, it was Sonic. But the PlayStation never really had any single character that was able to lay claim to this kind of fame. The closest would either have to be Crash Bandicoot or Spyro the Dragon.
Looks like I got some things to do.
Spyro the Dragon was released in 1998 on the PlayStation 1 by Insomniac Games. It was about a cheeky purple dragon and his quest to save his world from a large green toad thing that turns all of Spyro's friends into fantasy-themed green jello molds. It was a third-person action platformer, and boy was it good! The controls are simple and fluid. The D-pad or left analog stick moves Spyro. X is jump, square is charge, circle is flame, and triangle is look. You can glide if you press X again during a jump, and while gliding, press triangle to drop to the ground. Most enemies are immune to one type of attack, but it's pretty easy to tell from a quick look what you need to use. This adds a small but necessary amount of variety to the enemies of the game, which are actually pretty diverse anyway. The graphics are crisp, sharp, and overall pretty good for a PlayStation 1 game, if a bit blocky. An interesting and nice note is that I have never found any graphical glitches of any kind in any of the original series. All the graphical glitches you see in this video are a result of my recording process and do not appear played from the original disc or if you downloaded the game from the PlayStation Network. The music of the game is very good, trust me on this one. It is incredibly atmospheric, unique to each level, and the best part? It was composed by the drummer of The Police. Seriously, just listen to this excerpt. So you see the point I'm trying to make.
Wow, you're right, that was good!
The game is in no way difficult. The majority of enemies only take one attack to kill, and bosses usually only take 3 at the most. However, you're going to die to the environment much more than you're going to die to the enemies. The camera is the only major failing of the game. It is a very passive camera, and you need to be constantly adjusting it with a triangle to manage it effectively. Off of that, another much more minor problem but still pervasive is that when you start charging, you immediately go in the direction Spyro is facing, not the direction the camera is looking. This has caused me to charge to my death many times. Thankfully, however, these are the only 2 problems of the game, and both are fixed in subsequent games. There are only 3 cutscenes in the game. Rescuing the dragons doesn't count, and they serve only as exposition dumps for the story that is more developed through the dialogue with the rescued dragons. But they do serve their purpose as quick summaries of the stories and capstones when you beat the game. Spyro the Dragon is one of the most iconic games for the PlayStation 1, leading the way for the rest of the series and an entire generation of knockoffs of bad 3D action platformers. It does have its flaws, with the camera being less than cooperative at times, and some levels are so hard to the point of being impossible, where you feel like you're constantly bashing your head against an immovable brick wall. But these levels are the exception to the rule, and this game is very good. It gets a very nice 9 out of 10. If you have never played this game, you really need to go find the original disc or get it on emulator. If you were introduced to the series by the games not made by Insomniac, then you really have to play this game because you have no idea what you are missing. This is Man Declares War on Peacocks, saving the world so you don't have to.